What it really means when your cat sleeps beside you. When your cat climbs into bed with you tonight, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Most people smile, pull the blanket a little tighter, and think, okay, they just want warmth. But here's the thing, that explanation is so much smaller than what's actually happening. Because sleep is the most vulnerable moment in any animal's life, and your cat knows that. Every instinct they carry, thousands of years of wild survival wired into their bones, is screaming at them to find somewhere hidden, somewhere safe, somewhere a predator would never reach. And instead, they walk past every quiet corner in your home. They pass the closet, the couch, the sunny windowsill, and they choose you. That's not a coincidence. That's a message. And most cat owners never fully hear it. Stay with me until the end, because point 7 is the one that changes how you'll feel every single time your cat settles in beside you at night. And if your cat has recently stopped sleeping with you, that matters more than you think. We'll get into exactly what that means. Let's start with what that nightly ritual is really telling you. It was never about warmth. Here's what most people assume. Your cat is cold. You are warm. Simple. But think about that for a second. Your cat is one of the most resourceful creatures alive when it comes to finding heat. Sunny spots on the floor, the top of the refrigerator, a laptop that's been running for an hour, fresh laundry straight out of the dryer. If warmth was the goal, your cat has options. But here's what's really happening. Sleep is when a cat is completely defenseless. Every predator instinct they carry knows this. In the wild, sleeping in the open is how you don't wake up. So cats are wired, deeply biologically wired, to sleep in places that feel absolutely safe. A study in animal cognition found that domestic cats form attachment bonds with their owners that closely mirror the way human infants bond with their caregivers. When your cat chooses to sleep beside you, they're not just seeking comfort, they're telling you something they can't say out loud. You are the safest place they know. Think about what that actually means. In a world full of instincts telling them to hide, to stay small, to protect themselves, they look at you and decide you are where they want to be most vulnerable. That's not warmth, that's trust at the deepest level an animal can offer. They're blending your scent with theirs. Have you ever noticed your cat pressing their head or body against you right before they fall asleep? Most people think it's affection, and it is, but it's also something much more ancient than that. Cats have scent glands along their cheeks, their forehead, and the base of their tail. When they rub against you before settling in, they're leaving invisible markers. But here's the thing most people completely miss. When your cat sleeps pressed against you night after night, they aren't just marking you, they're blending your scent with theirs. In wild cat colonies, members who belong together, who are safe together, share a communal scent. It's called allo rubbing. It's how they say, without making a single sound, this one is family, this one is mine, this one is safe. Researchers studying feral cat colonies found that scent blending is one of the primary ways cats establish social bonds and recognize members of their group. It's not random, it's deliberate, it's relational. So when your cat curls up against you every night, they're performing an ancient ritual. They are weaving you into their identity. They are telling the world and telling themselves that you belong to each other. This is also why your cat sometimes sniffs you intensely when you come home from somewhere new. You smell different. You'd been somewhere without them. And that bedtime cuddle that follows, part of it is them quietly restoring what went missing. They're bringing you back into the fold. They think you're your bodyguard. Here's something that might make you look at your cat a little differently tonight. Where does your cat sleep? Right by your head? Near your feet? Pressed against your back, facing the door? That placement isn't random, it's strategic. Most people assume a small house cat has no real awareness of danger. But here's the thing, even the most pampered indoor-only cat
still carries the instincts of a predator. And predators understand threats. They understand positioning. They understand what it means to hold the right spot in a space. When your cat positions themselves beside you at night, part of them genuinely believes they are standing guard. This goes back thousands of years. In wild cat colonies, members take turns staying alert during rest periods. Not everyone sleeps deeply at the same time. Someone is always watching. It's not just bonding, it's survival strategy. Your cat hasn't forgotten that code. Watch their position carefully. If they sleep facing the bedroom door, they've chosen the entry point. They're monitoring what comes in. If they sleep near your head, they've placed themselves at your most vulnerable spot. If they sleep with their back against yours, they're covering the angle you can't see. They know they're small. They don't care. Something deep in their wiring says, this cat is mine to protect. And every single night, without being asked, they show up and take their post. If this is landing differently than you expected, if you're starting to see your cat's behavior as something deeper than you realized, hit like and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more cat people who actually want to understand what their cats are trying to tell them. Every sleep position is a different message. Does your cat curl into a tight ball, sprawl out completely, sleep with their back turned to you, press themselves into the smallest possible space against your side? Every single position is saying something different, and once you know what to look for, you'll never see it the same way again. The tight curl, paws tucked, tail wrapped around the body, everything protected. This is the most guarded position a cat can take. It shields their belly, covers their vital organs, and keeps every vulnerable part of them hidden. If your cat always sleeps like this beside you, they feel safe enough to be near you, but there's still a small layer of caution underneath. It's trust with the lightest armor still on. Then there's the full sprawl, legs stretched, belly exposed, sometimes completely upside down like they've given up on gravity entirely. This is the deepest possible signal of security. A cat showing their stomach is a cat that believes, completely, without reservation, that nothing bad will happen to them here. Every survival instinct that tells them to stay guarded has gone quiet. That only happens in one kind of place, a place they feel completely safe. What about when they turn their back to you? Some owners take that personally. Don't. In cat language, turning your back to someone is one of the highest forms of trust. It means you don't need to watch them. It means you're not a threat. It's not rejection. It's a compliment in a language most people never learn to read. And then there's the full contact press. When your cat wedges themselves directly against you, no gap, no space, sometimes tucked into angles that make no physical sense, that's the strongest statement of all. They want zero distance between you and them. That's not clinginess, that's devotion. They rewrote their entire biology for you. Here's something most cat owners never think about, and once you hear it, it's hard to unhear. Have you noticed your cat seems to wake up when you do? That they wind down when you go to bed? That somehow, despite you never training them, their schedule just matches yours? That's not a coincidence, and it's not habit. It's a choice they made at a biological level for you. Cats are crepuscular. That means their bodies are naturally wired to be most active at dawn and dusk. It's when their wild ancestors hunted. It's when their instincts fire the loudest. By nature, a cat's internal clock should have almost nothing in common with a human sleep schedule. But bonded cats do something that researchers didn't fully expect. A study tracking domestic cats living closely with their owners found that over time, cats gradually shift their entire sleep and wake cycle to mirror the humans they're bonded with. They stay awake longer during the day, they sleep more deeply at night. They suppress their natural hunting hours, not because they have to, because that's when you're available. Think about what that means for a second. Your cat has an internal clock built over thousands of years of evolution, hardwired, ancient, and they quietly rewrote it just so they could exist more fully in your world. This is also why your cat appears at your side right before your alarm goes off, why they're waiting at the door when you get home at the same time each day. They haven't just learned your schedule, they've absorbed it. They've made it their own, not out of routine, out of preference. They want to be where you are, so they became someone who lives on your time. They feel your emotions before you do.
Have you ever had a really hard day, and before you said a single word, before you even sat down, your cat was already there, already pressing against you, already refusing to leave your side? That's not sweet timing, that's perception. Cats who are bonded to their owners become extraordinarily tuned into them, and science is starting to catch up to what cat owners have quietly known for years. Studies show that cats can detect subtle shifts in human behavior, body language, vocal tone, and even scent. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, your movements become slightly different, your breathing changes in ways you don't even notice yourself. Your cat notices all of it. They don't know why you're upset, but they know something is off, and for a bonded cat, that's enough to change their entire behavior. This is why some cats become intensely affectionate when their owner is sick, why they follow someone grieving from room to room, why they curl up specifically on the chest of someone who is anxious, right over the heart. They're not just being sweet, they're responding to real, measurable signals your body is sending out without your permission. But here's the part that goes even deeper. Sleeping beside you gives your cat a front row seat to your emotional baseline. Night after night, they're tracking your heart rate, your restlessness, your breathing rhythm. They're building a map of what you feel like when you're okay. So when something shifts, when the rhythm changes, when the breathing gets shallow, when you're not quite yourself, they feel it before you've put it into words. Your cat has been quietly studying you, learning you, carrying you in a way you probably never realized. And they do it because to them, you are worth paying that close of attention to. Part 4 of 4. This is what I mentioned at the very beginning, and I want you to take this one seriously. What does it mean when a cat who has slept beside you for months, maybe years, suddenly stops? Most owners assume their cat is being moody or independent or just going through a phase. They wait for things to go back to normal, and sometimes that wait goes on far too long. Here's the thing. Cats are creatures of deep habit. When they break a pattern this significant, one built on trust, on bonding, on everything we've talked about today, they're not doing it randomly. They're telling you something, and it's worth listening to. Sometimes the reason is physical. Pain, illness, or internal discomfort can make a cat withdraw into solitude. It's one of the oldest survival instincts they carry. When an animal feels weak, they hide. They don't want to be found in a vulnerable state. So if your cat suddenly prefers to sleep alone, especially if they're older, or if other small things have shifted, appetite, movement, energy, a vet visit isn't overreacting. It's exactly the right response. Sometimes the reason is environmental, a new pet in the home, a new person, a change in furniture, in routine, in the smell of the bedroom. Something that seems completely minor to you can feel like a significant disruption to a cat whose entire sense of safety is built on consistency. They're not punishing you, they're recalibrating. And sometimes the reason is emotional. Cats remember. If something startled them in that space, a loud noise, a moment of conflict, something that made them feel unsafe even briefly, they may pull back from it entirely. Not forever, but until they feel certain again. The key in all of these cases is the same. Pay attention. Don't brush it off. Your cat chose to sleep with you because they trusted you completely, with their body, their vulnerability, their sense of safety. If that changes, they're not being difficult. They're communicating in the only language they have. So watch, notice, and if they've pulled away, don't force it. Gently rebuild it. Spend quiet time in the space. Let them come back on their own terms, because the bond that made them choose you in the first place is still there. They just need to feel sure again. So the next time your cat climbs into bed beside you tonight, curls up against your legs, tucks themselves under your arm, presses their small, warm body against yours. I want you to feel that differently than you did before, because they didn't have to choose you. They have a whole home full of quiet corners and warm spots and safe places, but they looked at all of it, and they looked at you, and they decided that you were where they wanted to be most defenseless. They rewrote their biology to match your schedule. They blended their scent into yours like a signature. They took a post beside you in the dark to stand guard over someone they decided was worth protecting. And every single night, without a word, without asking for anything in return, they show up and say the thing cats can never quite say out loud: "You are my person, and I am exactly where I want to be." Don't take that lightly. It was never a small thing to them. And now you know it shouldn't be a small thing to you either.